Okay, so we're watching Drako, who is a gold 5 on Hollywood. This, I think it's going to be playing Soldier. That's what they said. Had many games in the past few days where either my team was absolutely wrecked or we wrecked the enemy. Sadly, the first one happened way more. I just don't know what to do in games like this because the enemy often has double kills and they just seem to kill everyone as soon as they get line of sight. Before anyone flames me to death for the VOD, in retrospect, I noticed I made many mistakes like going in without my team, ulting when no one was there, slash lamp slash no pressure from mates, not focusing on support enough, and maybe more dumb mistakes. I just want some advice, either for me specifically or just in general, on what to do in games where it seems like you have no control over anything. Is it just a game I need to accept as a loss, or is there a possibility that if I play better, the outcome of the match will be better? I'm going to pause right there. You can basically always do something to affect the outcome of the match. I mean, not guarantee that you can win every single match, but I would say in general, 80 to 90% of all matches are winnable basically just from you alone if you played well enough. And you can see that in unranked GM series where people typically win somewhere between 75 to 100% of their games. I think Forgiving has actually done multiple unranked GM games where they win literally every single game. So, and we're talking like 30 something games. It is possible to win almost every single game if you play well enough. Is that realistic? Absolutely not, right? But I think that you're probably, if you're looking to climb, you're probably looking at something like a 60% win ratio is very, very good, which still means you lose 4 out of 10 games, but 60% is pretty good. All right, next. Advice on how to stop making those mistakes I identify would be great. Like, how do I keep track of if my teammates are all there and pressuring the enemy team? Do I just look and guess if my tank is heading in? I find it really hard, especially when ulting, to look at where my team is, what they are doing, where the enemies are, and what abilities they have available. How to reliably kill the support they are standing behind. I know flanking is the obvious answer, but how do I figure out the right timing? How do I kill them in time without another DPS noticing and battling slash killing me? Okay, so there's like a million questions here. Basically, you're asking, how do you play Overwatch better? I mean, I could sit here and talk for like 5 hours in a row about like all the things. I don't even know that it would be useful though, because you wouldn't be able to process all of it. I would start by saying, watch other streamers. Like there are many of them out there who are really good, right? The first ones that come to mind are A10, right? CarQ, Forgiving, right? Some of the Yeetle, right? Those are some of the really, really, really good ones that I've watched before who helped me a lot to understand the game and learn the game. Watch them, right? Watch their content. I think a lot of them have unranked GMs type series. Watch those for your tier level, right? Look at their, let's say gold level games or silver level games and see how they play and see how they play better. And try to learn from that, right? It's not going to be a quick thing. It's not an overnight thing. There's nothing I'm going to say in this video that's magically going to make you a million times better, right? I can point out some stuff, but ultimately it's still a journey and it requires a lot of experience. So, very quickly, I'll try to answer these questions up front. How do I keep track of if my teammates are all there and pressuring the enemy team? Number one, watch the kill feed, top right. Number two is turn on team death noises if you don't know, right? In the options you can find, and finds like when teammates are eliminated, you can turn on a sound that'll ping you that they have died. Number three, push tab for the scoreboard. Push tab a lot. That's assuming you're on PC. I don't know what the key is on console. Do that a lot to figure out who's up, who's dead, right? When are they responding? Really, really important. I check it all the time. Even in the middle of fights, I will check it just to figure out who's still up if I lost track. Do I just look and guess if my tank is heading in? That's complicated. I would say it's a combination of body language and positioning, right? So if my Ryan is running into the enemy team, yeah, it looks like he's going in, right? If my Ryan has 100 health and he has a shield up, I don't think my Ryan is going in. Is my Winston nanoed right now? I assume he's going to be diving in, right? Is my Winston jumping back from them? Okay, he's probably not going in. Like there's a million different factors there, right? Like, is there Bastion right now, like in turret form? I don't think anyone's going in, right? Do I just hear Genji Blade, being nanoed on their team? Probably nobody's going in, right? Probably we're hanging back. Do I hear, high noon? Okay, nobody's going in, right? On our team, do I hear coalescence popped? Yeah, then we're probably going in, right? There's so many factors that go in there, right? But generally, people go in when they think they have an advantage, and they don't go in when they think they're at a disadvantage. I find it really hard, especially when ulting, to look at where my team is, what they're doing, where the enemies are, and what abilities they have available. So for starters, before you ult, you should already know what the situation is. You don't pop ult and then figure out if it's the right time to have ulted. You look first, then you ult, right? That's really important. Don't pop ult first. Look to see that it's the right time, then use your ultimate. After you use your ultimate, focus on getting kills, right? Focus a lot less about what your team is doing. Then once you pop ultimate, you're committed, get the kills. Trying to figure out what abilities they have available. Honestly, it just comes with time. Right? It comes with, like, I have over 1,000 hours of Overwatch. You probably have way less than me. The short answer is just play the game a ton and you'll learn a lot more about the game and just figure out like what's impactful, how did I die, what's that ability, how long is the cooldown. Read the wiki a lot, right? I think one of the first things I did is I read the wiki and like learned all the abilities. I regularly consult the wiki even now, right? Even though I know a lot of the ability cooldowns, damage, etc. by heart, I still look it up because occasionally I forget something or like, want to brush up on, an update or something, whatever it is. How to reliably kill the support they are standing behind. I assume support's in the back line. You find an angle where you catch them by surprise or where they cannot escape you. I know flanking is the obvious answer, but how do you figure out the right timing? You look for opportunities where you can safely flank. Again, very contextual, highly experience-based. How do I kill them in time without another DPS noticing and battling/killing me? Super contextual. I can't even... I would say the short answer is align your pressure window with your tanks, right? When your tank is applying pressure, you apply pressure. Don't apply pressure on your own, typically. Okay, let's play. So, for starters, we start at the beginning of the game. Looking at your team very quickly, you have Anna, Mercy, perfectly fine. Nothing, typical supports to see. You have a Zarya, right? So she's not going to be making a ton of space, but mostly she's going to be looking to build charge and then mow down the enemy. And then you have an Echo, which I would expect your Mercy's going to be mostly pocketing your Echo. So I would try to think to stay in line of sight of your Anna if you need healing, and occasionally the Mercy might be able to help you. For Soldier, playing up top here is pretty much like number 1 spot, right? Number 2 spot would be playing like over here. Number 3 spot, right, could be either playing this angle right here or playing in the back, right? And then for flank options, you always have the option to go this way, right? Or going through the back alley, right? But I think a really important thing in Soldier is try to force them to use abilities to move you away, right? Don't give them space for free. Jumping down the air is okay. Like, you want to try to farm a little bit ult charge? Yeah, but you see how you nearly died there? Like, think about it. Think about how little impact you had right there, and you nearly died. I don't think this is worth it, typically. I would just play high ground. Right? Like, this is not a meaningful thing. Well, your team is really far forward, so I guess it's that's not your fault. Zarya dies. She's super overextended. This really shouldn't be happening at gold. This fight's over. Like, honestly, the fight's already over. I think you just run back. Right? I go way back right now. I probably go back all the way to Cafe, go up the stairs, right? And then play from Cafe and just try to shoot a little bit. Or you go over here, shoot a little bit, and give it up. With your tank dying that early, there's almost no way that you can possibly win this fight. Right? So, again, play your life right now. There's no need to shoot right. You're at 20 health. There's no reason to be fighting right now, right? If you get that low, your instinct should be to turn and run and cover back here, right? Or like run back here. Anything other than try to fight right now, because you don't want to die. That Zen's trying to kill you. All right? Again, like, you peek. You think this is what's called a wide peek, okay? So a good peek is this, right? Just like a little jiggle, just enough. Like, let's imagine right here, right? Just enough that you can see, you shoot, you hide, you shoot a little bit, you hide, okay? This is what you end up doing, right? This is what's called a wide peek. It's very, very dangerous because you're exposed for longer, and if you want to take cover, it takes you longer to get back, and that's why you die here. Okay. You Helix, you go way too wide, and you die. Your Mercy reses you here, right? And then she's going to get killed for it, probably. Your aim here is not good, right? This is an opportunity that you really prefer. The Baptiste is running a straight line, left to right. Fire Helix at the ground right here into his legs, and then kill him. Right? You miss almost every single bullet there, and you miss your Helix like completely. Helix splashes. Don't shoot her when she's spinning. Spinning blocks projectiles. See, this is tough, right? Because I have no idea. You're gold 5 right now, but I don't know if you're truly a gold 5. Like, you've earned your way into gold 5, or whether or not you're a new player that has just started in gold 5. Because if you're a new player who started in gold 5, I would say that I've only watched 30 seconds of your gameplay, basically 40 seconds of your gameplay. It does not look like you're a gold 5, and I would expect that you're probably going to lose more games. Just from the fact that you didn't realize that the Orisa spin blocks your shots and you still spend time shooting her. So there's nothing... If you're actually a new player, there's nothing that's going to stop you from falling. Like, there's no advice anyone's going to give you, quite frankly. Like, you're just going to need to kind of go through the motions and, like, learn and lose games to build up the experience to be able to figure out what it is. The problem is a lot of people get placed in gold initially. Like, again, that aim wildly off. Watch this, right? You're shooting, right? This should be easy. Like, at basically all levels, this is like 100% accuracy, 90-100% accuracy right now. But, like, watch your aim right now. Miss. Helix into the wall, right? And then you start hitting again. Also, you should be going for headshots. None of these are headshots. I mean, this may be bad news for you, but probably you're going to lose more games. You just need a lot more aim practice. Independent of all the other things that would probably happen. Anyway, no need for us to watch that. Let's jump forward. Okay. So you're kind of holding it off angle. This is like okay, right? Again, not really expecting to win any fights here. Don't forget that there is a Mega back here if you didn't know. Right, the Mega Health Pack is very helpful. I definitely be very careful about not staying low. Using Heal Station there is not great, but it's not terrible either. Right? So you Helix Rocket. So you see the Reese is kind of putting pressure on you, right? This is how the enemy teams create space. She puts pressure on you, she does some damage, you get nervous. You should grab the Mega right now. Again, I'm assuming you're new at Overwatch because you aren't going for that Mega, which I think any experienced player would go for the Mega right now. Alright, your Sigma dies there, not your fault. Nothing you can do there. That's 100% the mistake of your Sigma, you're playing up that. So once again, your Sigma has kind of died and then you're in trouble. You don't want to be playing this angle anymore. Why? Because it's really hard, right? You never see anybody but the Orisa. A good rule of thumb is don't shoot tanks, right? Whenever possible, don't shoot tanks. You have the ability to shoot people who are not the Orisa. From here, no. But go up the elevator over here, and now you can shoot their backline, right? Or if you don't like that angle, you could play over here, right, on the bridge, or you could play all the way over here on the, this is Saloon, right? It's called Saloon because you look at it, it says Saloon. This is Bank, this is Saloon. So again, a lot of opportunities to shoot people. You also have Visor right now, which means you can go up here, right, pop Visor, and potentially kill the whole team. Okay, so you get the raid, yeah? Again, I think it's bad because you pop Visor before even looking. Like, there might have been nobody here. You don't actually know. So I think this is a bad idea. Okay, so, again, you pop Visor. You pop Visor up here, and, like, there's nobody here to the right. You see this on the left, and you just start spamming. Like, think about it. This encompasses nearly your whole screen for auto-aim, and you are missing right now. I don't really know what to say. I mean, you have to look at enemies before you start shooting, is the short answer. You're way too impatient on this. You've missed 23 bullets so far, right, until you start hitting targets. This is just, even in silver, I think this is unacceptable, right? You just have to look at people, the general direction of people at least, with Visor before you start shooting them like that. Right? So again, your Visor provided very little value there. So you effectively wasted it. Right? Again, you don't want to get up close to Orisa. That's not good. You want to play in the medium range. Orisa wants to play in close range. Don't play in her good range, play in your good range. Again, right now you're just playing with your entire team on top of each other. As Soldier, your instinct should be take high ground and fight from high ground. This is Window. Window doubles all the damage that goes through it. This is a great way for you to die. Okay, so something is clearly happening. Alright, you've got it. Great. Let's move forward. Nothing really going on here. Okay, so your team is pressuring their spawn for some reason. Right, you've lost one. Okay, you shoot. That's fine. Like at this point, Mercy goes for the res. Mercy dies. This is none of these things are your fault. There's nothing you can do about this. Right, just start front wall charge. I think this is fine. Just front wall charge. With slightly better aim, you will kill the Zen here. Right? Force trans, which is great. Fantastic. That's a good play. Right? You died for it? That's okay. That's worth it. Totally worth it. Totally worth it for force trans for that. I think that you could have killed him and got away, or force trans and got away with slightly better aim, but that's okay. Right? Helix is very, very helpful. Generally, I would say fire Helix first and then start shooting. That way, because Helix takes time to travel through the air, but your bullets are hit scan, meaning they're instant. So that Zen will start getting hit by your bullets and immediately get hit by the Helix rocket right after that before they have the ability to do anything about it. Again, aim's not great there, but I think the point is you should not focus the Zen who's super far away with cover. You should focus this right here. The moment you see that, you should focus that, because that guy is A, standing still, and B, an actual threat to both you and your team. Right? You also put your heal station too far to the left, right? If you put it more inwards over here, then your whole team can kind of benefit from that. Or you see your Sigma like is not really getting necessarily the whole. Okay. So you run for that, right? Again, just the angle in which you run is not good, right? So the Orisa pulls you into here. You have two options. One, run along this wall, or two, run and tightly cut this way. Why do I say this? Because the Soldier right here can see you. You ran in a straight line away from the Soldier, which is why you get lit up here, right? And then you nearly die for it. And then you end up dying because the Orisa chases you. Okay, so let's think about what you're doing here, right? Is your team here? right? Is your team right here? Okay, this is an easy thing, all right? Just push tab and look around because you can see your teammates through walls. You can always see teammates through walls. Do you see any of your teammates here? Anybody able to help you? No? No? Okay, don't do this, right? You walk up, you try to fight the whole team, all 4 of them at once, and guess what? You get lit up, you get killed, and now you're stacked, right? Your Sigma's not even alive right now. You can just tell from the scoreboard. You don't even have to look. Your Sigma's not even alive. Play with your team, right? Play around your team. Okay, let's just take a second and look at this aim. So, you see 3 targets, you barely hit 2 of them, and fire all the rest of the bullets in wild patterns around them. Focus one person, be like, I'm going to shoot this guy, okay? You might be like, oh, I'm going to shoot the Orisa, right? So, for example, you're like, okay, the Orisa's for first one range, I'm going to shoot the Orisa, right? Okay, but wait, oh, the soldier's there. Okay, let me switch to shoot the soldier. And just focus on the soldier the whole time, right? You're kind of like wild all over the place. You have like a school of fish problem where you see so many targets that you just can't aim at any single one of them. Also, I don't think playing in mid is a good idea. If you want to play with your team, like, listen, if you just want to sit here and shoot people, just play Cassidy, right? Play Cassidy, maybe play Reaper, but like play Cassidy. He's really good. He does much more damage than you. He's also a great close-range duelist. If you want to play Soldier, emphasize the use of your mobility, right? You're much faster than a lot of other DPS. You could play this angle right here, right? You could play high ground, which you did before, but you did it totally the wrong time, right? Or you could put pressure from the left. You have a lot of options. Just don't just play behind your tank. That's like the worst place for you to take. Okay. I think this is a reasonable visor, right? You're probably going to get... Yeah, see? This is good, right? This wins the fight right here. Perfect. Right? No issues with this whatsoever. Again, kind of aim's kind of wild. I think your sensitivity is way too high, which, you know, most people's sensitivity is way too high. But based on the fact that I think you have trouble controlling it when you need to move larger distances, your sensitivity is probably too high. And I'd also make sure mouse acceleration is off. Okay, so generally speaking, play near cover. If you are standing out here, is there any cover? Nope. Not any cover you can get to within a second. Right? There's no cover here. There's no cover anywhere. Right? What are places that you could be playing? You could be playing here. I don't like playing here because you can get trapped really easily because you can't really move around very easily. But I guess you can kind of play. I actually realized I'm supposed to. So like you could play right here. Okay. You could play this angle, which is not great, but you could play that angle. Right? You could play this angle. You could play this angle. Right? There's a lot of options to play here. You know what's awful place to play? Right here. This is a terrible place to play. Don't just stand out in the middle. I think one of the things is that the lessons you learn from potentially other shooters like CSGO or Valorant, where you die very, very quickly, people would never stand in the open in those games because they're like, oh, of course I'll die. Use cover. Just because you don't die quite as quickly in this game doesn't mean you shouldn't use cover. Standing out here in the middle, bad idea. The second I hear left, I hear the soldier. I can just tell from the footstep sound. I know that I'm in trouble because the soldier's gonna peek me here, and I gotta be careful, right? I know I'm way out in the open. Like, yeah, I'm being pocketed, but like their whole team is gonna be peeking me in a second. Right? That's a good prediction on the soldier to right click there. But if you're going to predict that, keep looking and see if you can get the kill. Right? See if your helix lands. Because you could have killed him right there if you did it. Okay, so you pop his station here. Okay. Oh, then you didn't finish reloading and you peeked him out. If you reloaded first, that's a very different situation. Alright, Risa's trying to hunt you down. The second I see the Risa running at me, what's my goal? Right? Risa's trying to come to me, run away. Alright? When enemies are coming towards you, that usually means enemies don't come towards you to suicide typically, right? So they come towards you, that means they think they're going to win the fight. So your response to people running towards you should be to run away. Like that should be your instinctive response. You should do a 180 and just run away immediately. Instead you're like, oh, I'm going to take this fight. You see how you barely done any damage to the Orisa, and now your Moira needs to coalesce just to keep you alive. So you just forced an ultimate out for that didn't need to happen. You just run backwards, the Orisa never kills you. Okay, now she pops ulti. For the record, it's line of sight, so you can also cut to the left or to the right there to also not take damage. Again, you're frontlining so much, so much. Right, you're just standing basically in the middle of your whole team, just running around. Like there's like a franticness to your play, where you're just like, oh, I'm gonna hold down left, mouse 1 as long as I possibly can, and then occasionally mouse 2, and just keep doing it. Like what other soldiers will probably be doing is I'll be playing these off angles and like, oh, you're gonna force me out of here. I'm gonna go over here, right? And then I'm gonna go over here. I'm just constantly keep putting pressure from different directions to make it really, really hard for them to deal with. Playing constantly with your team does not make their job all that much harder, right? Everything is the fight is always in front of them. Right? Try to make the fight at their heart. Okay, look, you're trying to flank here. Here's the problem. Cassidy is a terrible person to take a close range fight because he has a sticky bomb which basically never misses that does 130 damage to you, which means, right, you're dead. He only needs to hit one body shot and a sticky bomb to kill you. This is a bad fight. How do you know that it's a bad fight? Experience. How can you get more experience? Honestly, just play a lot more deathmatch and then you'll learn stuff like this and you're like, oh wait, I don't take that. Play in the mid-range. Cassidy is a short to mid-range hero. You're pretty much exclusively a mid-range hero. Okay, so this is silly. You see that he's popped High Noon. Okay, first of all, you can right click here to potentially kill him sooner. Then you're like, oh, okay, whatever, I'll just come back out anyway. Well, no, he's gonna kill you, right? And that didn't need to happen. Like, your Mercy could have touched the cart, and maybe he kills Mercy, but like, you're definitely gonna die there. The only win scenario is that you use his visor and kill everybody, right? This is just bad. Like, I don't really see the reason. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. So I would say it feels fairly clear to me that you don't have a lot of experience playing the game. That would be my guess here, and it's possible that I'm wrong. My guess here is that you don't have enough experience playing the game, and I think you just need to play a lot more games. And I think that you need to be more cognizant about how to play. Like, there's no shortcut to this. Like, you just need to get into a lot more situations to understand what's going on, right? But I would say, like, the quick tips right now, I would say number 1, play high ground more, right? Number 2, play your life, like play to survive, right? Versus trying to do as much damage as you possibly can. Play to live. Try to minimize the number of deaths that you have. Do I have a clear number 3? I mean, I guess not. I mean, nothing really stands out. It's like, yeah, we've covered, like, there's a lot of little mistakes you're making all the time. It's really hard for me to pick out one thing and be like, oh, it's definitely like this specific situation. That there's like a general theme. I think that in basically all scenarios, I think you're making a lot of small mistakes almost constantly. Like, within 10 seconds of gameplay, I can probably point out like 7 different things that I feel like you're doing wrong. And I think that a lot of those things you'll just clean up just through a lot more gameplay. So hopefully that's at least a little bit helpful.